Hello and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Katherine and I'm currently a fourth year PhD candidate studying history at The Ohio State University. And the new year is just days away, which means it is time for my annual review and goal setting for the year ahead. So let's just get right into it. For a brief 2023 review, it was honestly a wild year. I spent lots of time traveling in the US. I visited friends in Denver and DC and spent lots of time in Texas. My husband graduated with his master's, then we got married, then we moved him cross country back to Ohio from Texas, and then moved myself from Columbus to about an hour outside in the suburbs. And I spent a 7-week research trip in Australia, and then I started a new job in the department. So overall, it was a super crazy year. I also finished my first chapter, which I did a whole nother video on, but it was a very good, very fun year, and it was filled with lots of time with friends and family, and for that, I am forever grateful. So now we're looking ahead because we don't have time to ruminate on the past. We're looking to the future, and for this year, I have divided my goals into 5 sections: work, personal, health, financial, and travel. Many of these are continuations of previous year's goals. You can check out my other videos with slight adjustments upon reviewing how they went in the last year. And some were made with my plans for the new year in mind, like my travel goals. But first, let's dive straight into work goals, which is work towards the PhD and the dissertation. This next year, 2024, it is absolutely imperative I get something in the publishing pipeline. Now, this is a goal that needs to be broken down into several smaller goal markers, such as deciding what I want to get published, if I want to choose one of my chapters, or if I want to do like a conference paper and rework that into an article. So that's goal number 1. And then I need to decide which journals I want to submit it to, etc. But having the big goal of just getting something into the publishing pipeline will enable me to break it down and also put my eyes on the prize, because if I want to have a job in the academy afterwards, which is my ultimate goal, I need something published. Okay, we've got my friends back. As per usual, I have been busy applying for many different grants. So this next goal is not something I necessarily have control over, but I would like to get 3 grants and 1 fellowship, and that is based on the amount of applications that I am submitting. I'm submitting 2 larger fellowship applications and then a number of smaller grants, and I hope I can get 3. I still have at least 1 additional research trip I need to take to France, and at least 2 small trips or 1 very large trip to Australia. And this next year is really crucial because it's kind of the last year I should be doing research before I'm just writing. So there's a lot to be done. So I'm really hoping that working on my grant applications and spending time on those will be fruitful. I'd also like to complete drafts of my 2nd and 3rd chapters. I'm kind of just relying on 1 chapter per semester being a feasible goal for me, with all of the other work I have to do as either a GRA or a GTA in the department, which is either a graduate research associate or a graduate teaching associate. And finally, for the first time in 3 semesters, I will just have 1 job next semester. So I'm very excited for that, and hopefully can spend much more time on my research and writing. Lastly, and this is a goal if you've been here for a while, this was my goal last year, I think, and maybe the year before, but to have a more consistent writing workflow / just workflow. I know by now, year 4, I should have mastered this, but everything is always a work in progress. So we're gonna work towards that. It is hard when my schedule changes so much and having a job on top of research and writing, but we're gonna work towards that. Okay, now on to the personal. I am upping my reading goal to 40 books this year. This past year, my goal was 25, and I think I read like 55 or something. So I do want to up my goal, but also be realistic that some things could change. So reading goal of 40 books, and that is just for fun. I don't count my school books, because it feels a little bit like cheating to me. It's not, but it kind of feels that way. I'd also like to practice my French more consistently, complete 1 puzzle a month because we have a backlog of like 12 puzzles. And then I also want to put together my wedding photo album from this past year. Now for health goals, I just have one overall goal, which is to be more active. And that's also just going to be my word for 2024. I feel like I got so complacent this last year, just sitting at the desk all the time. So active is the main goal. And my husband and I have already started actively working towards that in the second half of 2023. And we're going to continue to do that. So as I've done for the last, I don't even know, 5 years, I'm going to do Yoga with Adrienne's January 30-day yoga challenge. So I'll start with that and then just move towards doing yoga twice a week. And also prioritizing playing tennis. I got Andrew and I tennis rackets for Christmas, and we've already played a few times because where we live, there's a tennis court nearby, and that has been so much fun. And we already take walks with the dog, so the tennis and the yoga is just gonna kind of be on in addition to all of that. I also have like a walking pad, which I'm trying to use more, but I still haven't mastered a standing desk solution, so that's a work in progress, and I'm not gonna make it a goal because that would stress me out. Okay, financial goals. Now, I've done a lot of different financial videos, and I have one in the works if you guys are interested in that. Again, my goals are a little bit different for this year. Now that I'm married, I will admit, it's a lot easier to be a grad student when you are married and your partner is no longer a grad student himself. Last year we were both grad students and now we're not. I do commute now, so I have more expenses for gas and parking, but I am blessed to be able to share expenses between 2 people. So for my specific financial goals, we have some short-term goals that I specifically am working towards. So I need to get new brakes for my car, but I need the money to do that. And then we are saving up for 2 weddings that we have this year out of state, which we are super excited for. Okay. Last up, goals for the new year, 2024, travel. So this section is a mixture of trips we already have planned, which is not really considered a goal, but since we still have to like save to do it, I do consider it a goal. We already have trips planned to France for research for me, Greece for work for my husband, and then Hawaii, which is a friend's wedding. And then I personally have a goal of going to California for a conference in November. That means I have to like get into the conference. So it has kind of a subset goal, but I've also just never been to California. So that's a big goal of mine, and I'm really hoping that I can make that happen this year. And then I'd like to make 3 to 4 trips this year to visit family in Houston, to see my parents, and then also my grandma is 95 and I love her so much, and also I want to spend as much time as I can with her, so hopefully a few more trips down to see them. And then I'd also like to spend some time visiting my friends out of state. So I have friends who live really all over the country, but this year I want to prioritize Florida, another trip to DC, and then hopefully Dallas. Okay, that's a lot of goals. This year though, I feel like I can actually make them happen. This past year was super busy in our personal lives, but professionally it was still super productive. I did present at a conference in 2023. I wrote my first chapter. I got several large grants that enabled me to go on research. So I think a lot of times I kind of downplay where I'm at in the process of a PhD. But truth be told, history PhDs take a long time. And if you're doing a PhD that requires research in 2 countries, even one other country, it's gonna take a long time. And if you're like me and you're researching 2 countries that are nowhere near each other, it's gonna take a while. So I have to give myself some credit for where I'm at even in year 4 of the program. As far as planning and making sure I can actually accomplish these goals for kind of both my personal goals and my work goals, this planner is going to be super important. I got a day designer planner, which I've had in the past, and this one I specifically really like because it has both an hourly schedule that goes from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. It also has a top 3 and what you're doing in the evening, which is super helpful. So I'm going to use this to ensure that I can reach my personal goals, also my health goals, and my work. And then I also want to prioritize using this notebook more, which I started using this past summer, and I have used, here we go, quite a good portion of it for my research notes, but I've never been one of those people who writes every day, and it's something that I think I need to do in order to make progress on my dissertation. And so I'm going to try and keep a log every day of what I do for my dissertation in here. And finally, you've seen it this whole past semester, but I have a giant whiteboard and I've reorganized it because last year I was doing too many things. This year I just have my job for my GRA on campus, my graduate research associate, what is it called? Graduate research assistant job. And then I have just my dissertation. So I have divided it into both research and writing. So I'm gonna keep track of where I'm at, what upcoming trips I have, what archives I'm going to, and then also where I'm at with my writing and my chapter goals. And then I have this week. So what is my top priorities for this week, which I can just take from this. And then I have my important deadlines, which I just always like to have. So right now I have 5 grants and fellowships that I need to apply for. I already have the applications pretty much good to go for 2 of them, but the others I have not started on yet. And I've already submitted 3 applications so far in November and December. So we are making it work. That is all I have for my both 2023 in review and looking forward to 2024. Do you guys, I feel like usually New Year's are kind of weird for academics since we run on a academic calendar and not a regular seasonal calendar. I don't know, what do you call that? Just a January to December calendar. But I still like to make goals and reassess at the beginning of the new year. So I'm curious, what do you guys like to do? That is all I have. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for another year supporting me and supporting this channel. I'm really grateful anytime I meet any of you guys in person, and I'm thankful that I can provide any assistance and navigation in this crazy thing called grad school that we are all going through together. I wish you and your family a very happy holidays and happy new year, and I pray for peace around the world in this new year. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.